enter button, there's an interpreter which tells the compiler what to do. Is everyone getting me?
Yes.
Alright. So Java is another interpreted language, right? And C is a compiled language. That means it'll directly be run. There's no interpreter in between. Then it's object-oriented. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Java, right? That's also object-oriented. So you know how that works. You make a class, and then you create an object of that class. It's portable. This means you can use it on any system. You don't have to worry about what system you're using. And high level. That means it's closer to our human language. So it's easier for us to understand and use. Okay? And one more important point is it's free. Like, it's open source. So obviously companies would prefer that. Why spend too much, right? Okay, so I will be introducing you to Jupyter Notebooks now. This is the outline of what I'll be covering. Alright, an introduction to Jupyter Notebooks, and then the basics of Python, and the basics of NumPy, SciPy, and Matplotlib, as well as Pandas. I hope you have these packages installed. Instructions are given for all that. Okay. So now you can follow along. Alright, that's why it's called a hands-on course. You can put your laptops comfortably, take an extra chair if you require. Everyone's all set? And for those of you who don't have your laptops, you can just check out the screen. I'll be doing it here. Everyone ready? Alright. So first, to start Jupyter Notebook, you need to open your terminal, as I've done. And just type in Jupyter space notebook. Hit the enter button, and your browser will open with the Jupyter Notebook interface. There you go. I hope I'm not in the way. The screen is clear? Okay. So it'll show you a list of all the documents you have on your computer. We're going to start a new notebook. Okay, one thing with Jupyter, you can use Python 2 or 3. It's best to have both versions, but it's not mandatory, alright? I'll just start with 2 for now. This is what your interface will look like. Has it opened for everyone? Alright. So Jupyter does have like a tour. It'll give you a tour of the window, but I've noticed it's very small and short. It doesn't really tell you much about what each icon and tab does. So I'm going to go through each icon and tab so that you're more comfortable with the interface. So what you can see here is the Jupyter logo. And here it's written Untitled. If you click there, you can rename your notebook. Now this area here, where my mouse is, that will show you checkpoints. A checkpoint is the exact spot where you have left your notebook last. If you just typed in a line of code and then you exit the notebook, the next time you open it, it'll show you that exact line, okay? And then you have the logout button if you just want to leave the notebook. Now, there's a bit of terminology involved with Jupyter. A notebook is also known as a kernel. So every time you open a new notebook, you're starting a new kernel.
Can you show the command prompt?
I'm sorry?
Command prompt. Jupyter Notebook.
Which command prompt?
From terminal. Right?
Oh, from the terminal, sure. I'll do that. So this is the command prompt at the terminal. Would you like me to type it in again? Alright. Oh, this is just the setting. When it's running to start your notebook, it'll show you all this.
You want to see that command which you have.
Oh, sure. Yes. Log out of it. I'll just terminate it. Okay, so once again, this is your terminal. Okay. At the command prompt, you just type in Jupyter space notebook. If you'd like to write it down, you can. There's no capitals involved. Jupyter space notebook. Alright?
Something parallel may be wrong.
Okay, no problem. So you can let me know if you have issues like this, okay? Hit enter. Did you press enter? It came?
No, I'm using a different
Okay.
paragraph.
Alright, no problem. So I'll just open a new book again, okay? Python 2. So I'll just restart, okay? We have the Jupyter logo, and then you can rename your notebook just by clicking that section. I'm going to name it test. Okay, test 1, because I've already created test. Now, you can see file here at the very top in your menu bar. So when you open file, you have the option to open a new notebook. That's pretty straightforward. And the open option will give you the same thing. The difference between these two is new notebook will let you choose whether you want Python 2 or 3. Open will just open a new notebook of the same type. In this case, I opened Python 2. So again, if I hit open, it'll open Python 2. Make a copy. Just like in a Word document, you copy a document. Same here. The entire book will be copied. Rename. You can rename your notebook. Save and checkpoint. So it will save the exact point where you've written your last command, whatever it was. We have a new person. Do you have everything installed? Python, Jupyter? Alright. Would you like me to start from the beginning?
No.
Okay. Welcome. So I'm just giving them a tour of Jupyter Notebook. Okay, revert to checkpoint. Now if you want to go to your last checkpoint, maybe if you feel whatever work you've done, you don't want that, you just want the previous work, you hit the revert to checkpoint button. In this case, my last checkpoint was what I showed you before, that test notebook. So it's showing me Saturday, March 17th, etc. Am I going too fast? Alright. Print preview. Now just as in a document, you have the option to view it before you print it, you can do the same with your notebook. Download as. Now when you download your notebook, you have several options. You can download it as a notebook, .ipynb. This means when the next person uses it, they will have to use their Jupyter Notebook software on their laptop. Then Python. You can download it as a Py file so that you can open it directly in the terminal. HTML. If you want to use it on your web browser, HTML is used there. Markdown. This means it will be like a text file. So there will be no executable code, it will just be text. Then you have a REST file, okay? And LaTeX and PDF, as you know. REST and LaTeX, that's a little more complicated. You don't have to worry about that right now as beginners. And PDF, you're all aware of PDFs, yeah? Trusted notebook. Now this has to do with the metadata. It's a little more on the security side, so you don't really need to worry about that right now. Close and halt. The important thing about this is when you start a new notebook, hi, do you have Python and Jupyter Notebook installed on your system?
I check.
Alright. So I'm just giving them an introduction of Jupyter. Okay. Alright, as I was saying, when you start a new notebook, you're starting a new kernel. Sometimes even if you shut down your notebook, the kernel is still running for that particular notebook. So if you want to save up memory and bandwidth, you should press close and halt. That will halt the kernel completely. It's just for memory and bandwidth. It's okay even if it's running. Then you have edit. So under edit, first of all, let's understand what this is, what we're seeing on the screen right now. That little box there, highlighted in blue, it's called a cell. That's where you write your executable code. Okay? So under edit, you can cut a cell, just as you would do with a word in a Word document. You cut a word, you copy a word. It's the same with cells. So copy cell, and then pasting. Now once you select a cell, you can decide whether you want to, it's highlighted in green because I selected it. Okay? You can decide whether you want a new cell at the top of it, at the top of that cell, or below it. depending on how you're writing your code. Maybe you forgot something, you want to add in something, okay? Then you have paste cell and replace. So if you want to paste a new cell and replace the code, that's the option you would choose. Do you want me to test it out right now? Oh. So if I just say test and hit enter, it's also showing line numbers. Can you see that 1 and 2? So it lets you know how many lines of code you have. So now if I say copy, hold on. I've copied the cell. Now I'm going to say paste cell above. It has the same word, so you can't see the difference yet. But you see a new cell has come, right? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now if I say paste cell below, one more cell has appeared, but this one was pasted below. Okay, delete cell, just as you delete a word or a line, this cell will get deleted in this case. So I've selected this cell here, it turned green, you saw the middle one. If I say delete, it's gone, it's not there. Okay, now you also have the option to split a cell. Say you have too many lines of code in a single cell, you might want to split it to make it easier to read for the next person. So if I say test and cell, now I will split it